everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Anna, and as you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about tropes. Now, tropes are things that, show up in the books. I don't really know how to explain what tropes are, but I'm just going to try and say they are just certain, characters, archetypes, situations that show up in books that you absolutely love. So, for example, we all know the love triangle trope, so you know that in that book there's going to be a love triangle, or for example, you have the famous trope of a medieval setting in the fantasy genre, so you already know that that book is going to be set in a very European medieval inspired setting. So basically tropes are just, like I said, archetypes, situations, settings, anything that you want that is going to be in that book. And why are tropes so important? In my opinion, they are important because you can actually tell if you're going to like that book or not based on that trope. So for example, if you love love triangles, then you're absolutely going to love books that have love triangles. I don't, okay? Side rant, I do not like love triangles at all, but this is what tropes give you. Now, it could be a very interesting conversation if we talked about, are tropes ruining kind of like the book market because people or because writers are writing based on the most popular tropes that are now. For example, you have a lot of books that have enemies to lovers tropes because, that's what's trendy right now. So you have a lot of books that are being sold as enemies to lovers. Sometimes they're not really even enemies, they're just rivals at best. So it would be an interesting conversation, and let me know down in the comments what your opinion on tropes are, if you think they are important, if you think they are ruining, the book market, if you think they're ruining books. Let me know down in the comments because I think this would be a very, very interesting conversation. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 favorite tropes, and yes, these will be in order. So I'm going to start with my, not least favorite trope, but I'm going to start at like number 5, and I'm going all the way up to my favorite trope of all time. And please, before you even see, my favorite tropes, comment down below as well, what your favorite tropes are specifically in the fantasy genre, because all of this is in the fantasy genre, or at least more seen in the fantasy genre. But yeah, please comment down below because I love knowing what other people, like when it comes to tropes, so I can compare. But without further ado, let's go to my top 5 favorite tropes of all time. Now, at number 5, we actually have one that is not, exclusive to the fantasy genre, and it's kind of a micro trope inside the fantasy genre. I think this trope is much more existence in the mystery genre, and what I'm talking about is the locked door mystery. And one book, or one fantasy book that does this that I absolutely loved was Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Ware. And in this book, we have a locked door mystery, or several locked door mysteries, but it's not one that you're thinking. What I mean by locked door mystery, it's not, oh, there was a murder and everything is locked, nobody could have, gone out, come in. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean by locked door mysteries is they, for example, in this book, they are in this certain place, in this castle, and they have to unlock doors in order to complete certain tasks because they are all participating in a competition, and the winner is going to be a part of, the emperor's, I don't want to say right arms, but that is the most, similar position that I can find. They call themselves lictors in this world, and the winner is going to become, one of these lictors. They are going to walk side by side with the emperor and going to have, so much more power. They're just going to unlock power that is unimaginable. And in this castle, you have to unlock doors, and the more keys you find and the more doors you unlock, the more knowledge you have in order to win this competition. That is what I mean by locked door mysteries. I'm not saying, I do like a good murder mystery, and this one does have a murder mystery because, of course, people here are dropping like flies, but that's not what I mean when I'm saying, or when I'm talking about locked doors. I just love. And another fantasy book that does this very well is The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, I think. She also does that very, very well. I just love when we have so many locked doors and our characters just have to, kind of walk through these obstacles and overcome them and try and find ways to open up more doors to get more keys because, of course, all of these competitors are going to have their own set of keys, and you can steal their keys in order to open up the doors that you didn't necessarily, have the merit to open because you didn't really complete any previous task in order to have those keys. You're just stealing. So everything just becomes so much more conniving and calculated. I just absolutely love that. And if you know more fantasy books that has this type of, micro trope, then please let me know because I would love to read more books like that. But if you also like this locked door type of mystery where our characters just have to find keys, unlock doors, then I would highly recommend Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Ware. This book is so much fun, and that setting and that, trope makes it even more fun. And in fourth place, we also have another micro trope, if we can say it that way, because I don't think this is such a big trope in, the fantasy genre. But I do think this is mostly in the fantasy genre. At least I can't really think this trope being put in any other genre other than fantasy. And that is the overpowered character. And I'm bringing here my set of Lord of the Rings trilogy because one overpowered character that I just absolutely love is Gandalf. And no, you cannot tell me that Gandalf is not overpowered. Yes, he is. This man or that man, he can defeat anything. He can even come back from the dead, okay? If that is not an overpowered character, then I don't know what is, but I just love them, okay? I love characters that are just so powerful that nothing can stop them. I don't know why. I just find it so, I think the word is badass. I just find them so badass. I find them so cool, and I actually don't like when they are defeated. Now, it seems a little bit, of a paradox because I don't like perfect characters, and I don't. And I love the fact that when Gandalf was fighting Balrog, he actually died. He defeated Balrog, but he had a lot of difficulty and he perished as well. That is what I like. I'm not saying that I don't like when overpowered characters don't struggle, they don't have obstacles. No, I do. But you always have to come out victorious. So I don't know why. It's just, you have to. Because if people have always been bragging about you or telling you as a reader that this character in particular, he is, the strongest of them all, he is, overpowered, he's the MVP of every single story, then he better prove himself. And Gandalf, I don't want to say Gandalf is presented to us that way because I don't think he is, but we do know that Gandalf is one of the most powerful wizards in this world. He's only behind Saruman, which is literally the leader of, the magicians in the Lord of the Rings. So I just absolutely love that, okay? I love overpowered characters, and unfortunately, I don't think I read any other fantasy book that has this, and I need more, okay? I need more. Another character that I can remember, but this one is not from, any book. It's from an anime. It's Attack on Titan. I'm talking about Levi. Okay, I love Levi. That man has never lost a single fight. He has suffered consequences, and, horrible consequences by that. I don't think he can ever even become a soldier again, which is really sad because he was really good at it, but I just loved Levi. Like, every time he showed up, I knew everything was going to be okay. I knew everything was going to be fine because that man was going to defeat whatever Titan was in his way, and that's how I feel about Gandalf. Gandalf, every time he showed up, I just knew it would all be okay. I just knew it would be okay because it's Gandalf. So if you do have more fantasy books that have these overpowered characters, these characters that are just really, really powerful, you just know everything is going to be all right, but still suffer consequences and they still struggle, please let me know down in the comments because I need more books with these type of characters. And in third place, we have the good old quest. Who doesn't love a quest, okay? If you read fantasy genre, and if fantasy is your preferred genre, is your favorite genre, you have to love quests. I love stories that center quests, and in this case, I'm going to bring you Kings of the Wyld. But the reason why I'm bringing you this one, it's because I also love, and this is another micro trope, and I'm joining these two together. I just love when, old warriors go one more time back on a quest. I just love it, okay? I love this book for that reason, and that's the thing, like, the story isn't even that great. It's not amazing. It's not groundbreaking. No, this is very much classical fantasy, but I loved it because I just loved this group of old men going on one final quest, and it's an epic quest at that. And like I said, it's just amazing, okay? I love quests. I love everything that entails with it because, of course, we're going on this big journey and we know that characters are going to face multiple obstacles. We know that they're going to meet new people, find new friends or new foes. We also know that they're going to encounter different type of creatures, plants. They're going to discover the world. Everything is just amazing with the quest. That's why I love quests so much. It's because we are exploring the world. We are walking with our characters. They are finding themselves because, of course, when you start a quest and when you finish a quest, you finish it in a very different mindset. You are a changed person and you have this huge character arc that is also epic because quests are supposed to be epic. They're supposed to be grand, and this is what happens here in the Kings of the Wyld. Like I said, of course, the fact that they are old men going out on one last quest is funny. It has, some humor to it because everything hurts, knees, back, everything cracks, everything, it's just not what they used to be, but it just makes it so much more fun. So if you haven't read Kings of the Wyld, please give it a chance. If you love quests, you're going to love this quest. I promise you. It is such an epic quest. It's filled with lots of dangers, lots of, weird, horrible, monstrous creatures. It's also filled with heartfelt moments, with funny moments. So please give it a go. And if you don't like the quest trope, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I do not understand how, as a fantasy fan, you don't like one of the best classical tropes of all time, which is a quest. Like, hello? I don't know. Like, people who don't like quest-centered stories, to me, you are a psychopath. Like, literally, you have to be a psychopath, because I cannot understand how you do not like quest-centered stories. It's literally one of the most basic things in the fantasy genre. And then at number 2, and this is coming, as no shock to anyone, it has to be the mentor. Okay, who doesn't love the mentor trope? I absolutely love it. And for this example, I am bringing you The Magician by Raymond E because I love Colgan as a mentor. Now, he is not, a very important character, but he is such a nice mentor. And in this case, I love any type of mentor, okay? I just love, it can be a grumpy mentor, it can be a sunshine mentor. I love them all. I love these old men that are teaching, our main character everything that they need to know, because most of the times they actually become some sort of like father figure to these protagonists. And I love that. I just love the mentor. I love how wise this person is, or supposed to be, okay? He's supposed to be very, very wise. And like I said, I just love how he shares his wisdom with our protagonist. And in this case, in The Magician, Pug actually didn't want to become an apprentice to a magician, because in this world, in Midkemia, people don't view magicians in a very good light. They don't like magicians. They don't like people who do magic, because people are very superstitious. So what they think is, oh my god, either you're a con artist or you're dangerous. You are dangerous. You are meddling with powers that you do not understand. So please do not come near me. Just stay 100 meters away from me. And people here who do magic are usually beggars. They're just people who are very, very poorly treated and poorly seen. So Pug doesn't want to become that. He's like, oh my god, like, I don't want to do this. But Colgan, he actually is, a little bit lucky, because he is an old magician. But because Boric, the Duke of Creed, which is where this story is set, or, mostly set, he really values Colgan's, advice and even powers. So Colgan does have a very good reputation. And Pug, he's still a little bit, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to become a magician. I don't want anything to do with that. But because Colgan does have, like I said, a good reputation, Pug is like, okay, you know what? It probably isn't that bad. Like, it must not be that bad. And Colgan actually said I had talent, so I cannot let this talent go to waste. So I'm just, gonna try this out. And Colgan is so nice. Like, he is such a nice old man, and he has a pet dragon. Okay, it's not a pet dragon, like, it's a dragonette. So it's, imagine a dragon that is small and doesn't really grow more than, his usual size. Who doesn't want that? Like, who doesn't want a mentor that has a pet dragon? And the dragon is so lazy as well. He's so unbothered by anything and everything. He is so lazy to the point where he doesn't even want to hunt. He's just like, you know what? I'm just going to starve. And I just absolutely love that. But another example that you have of, and this time a grumpy mentor in my opinion, is from Edagon, from The Inherited Cycle by Christopher Paolini. We all know that Brom is such a grumpy mentor, and of course he is. Everything, that he has been through and all that he has lost his own dragon. And as you know, in that world, being a dragon rider, it's a very respectable position, but you also create this bond with your dragon that is just irreplaceable. And Brom losing his dragon, it's like he lost a part of himself, and he lost so much hope. So of course he is grumpy. He's going to help Edagon with anything that he can, teaching him anything that he can when it comes to become a dragon rider in the shortest amount of time. But just the way that he does it, it's very aggressive and he just doesn't have a lot of patience for Edagon, which is fine. I absolutely love that still, because he is trying everything in his power to teach Edagon everything in that short amount of time, and that comes off as aggressive and very just grumpy. He is grumpy, and I absolutely love that. So in conclusion, I just love mentors, okay? They can be grumpy, they can be a sunshine, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me. All I like is the fact that our protagonist has just some sort of like father figure, someone that they can go and cry to, someone that is accompanying them in this very scary journey, because they are usually going on a big quest and they are going to the unknown. And it's just all scary. It's very scary for a child because, in fantasy books, they are usually children. But even if they're not, even if they are young adults, it's still very scary going to the unknown and not knowing what to expect, what is going to happen to you. So mentors are such a classic fantasy trope that I absolutely love and I never want to see replaced. And lastly, for the cherry on top, and this one is one of the most basic tropes out there, okay, people? And this one is not just inside the fantasy genre. I do think it's more common in the fantasy genre, but this trope, like I said, it's so basic. Everyone loves it. Everyone talks about it. And I'm talking about the found family trope, and I'm giving the example of the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. Who doesn't love a good found family? Like, who doesn't love a found family? It is just so relatable, because even in our daily lives, we love the idea of we are the ones that pick our family, because sometimes our blood family, oh my god, they are hideous, they are horrible people, or you just don't really like them, you don't have a good relationship with them, and because you cannot, you could break those ties if you are brave enough, but sometimes, especially when you're young, you can't really break them, so you love the idea of picking your own family, which comes from friends, and we all just love that found family trope. And in this book, we follow Vin, and she is a thief. She is always meddling, with thief groups in this world, because this world is horrible for people like her. In this world, we have a very strict social hierarchy, so we have the noble people, and they have all of the privilege in the world. They are the ones that possess, even the magic system. They are the only ones that can perform magic. And then we have the Ska, which are, just the dirt. Let's just say it like this. They are the dirt. They are the plebs. They are the ones that, get mistreated over and over again. They are enslaved. They don't have any rights whatsoever. And the only way that Vin has found to survive is just by meddling with these thieves groups and trying, her best to stay hidden and stay put and just to survive one day at a time. But one day she actually meets Kelsier. And Kelsier, he is the leader of another thief group, but this group is actually good. And this group is formed by a lot of people, and all of these people have magical abilities. And the reason why they have them is because sometimes, the nobles, they mess around with the Ska women or with Ska men, and it usually doesn't end well for the Ska, because the Lord Ruler, the one that rules this entire empire, he's like, okay, you can mess around, I cannot forbid that, but you have to kill the Ska person. I don't want to have, mixed people. I don't want to have Ska people with some powers. But of course, not everyone does that. And some Ska people escape. And Kelsier has, made his thief group with these sort of people. So every single person, or almost every single person in his thief group, does have a power. And Kelsier is actually a Mistborn, which means that in this world, he can use all powers. And what that means is he can actually use all powers, because in this world you can use powers by ingesting some sort of metal, but usually one person can only have one power. So for example, if I ingest copper, I'm going to have one power. If I ingest iron, I'm going to have another power. But Kelsier, by being a Mistborn, he can ingest any metal and have all powers. And of course, our main character Vin is also going to find out that she is a Mistborn, and thus a journey begins, because she joins this ragtag group. Although they are the best thief group out here in Luthadel, in the city, they are still, just a ragtag people, and their plan is to actually take down the empire. They want to take down the emperor, the Lord Ruler that has been ruling this empire for 800 years. So he's basically a god, immortal, and that's exactly what they're going to do. And it's just so lovely to see all of these people. Of course, prior to Vin, they all trusted each other because they knew each other very, very well. But seeing Vin enter this group and finding a family, it's so heartwarming, because she has never trusted anyone in her life. She has always lived in the streets, and she knows how people are horrible. They betray you, they stab you in the back whenever they can, and she just has never trusted anyone, not even her own family, because her older brother always said, I am going to leave you one day, you're going to be on your own one day, and he actually did leave her. He left, and it's just horrible, because she's like, okay, like, I really cannot trust anyone in this world. But seeing her slowly trust this group, Kelsier, Says, Breeze, Ham, Club, Spook, everyone, is so heartwarming to see. And just the little steps that they take with her, and how cautious they are around Vin, because they understand everything that she has been through. It's amazing, okay? And if you do not love the found family trope, I don't know, like, you are even a greater psychopath than not liking the quest trope, because who doesn't love when a bunch of people join together? They don't really know each other, they're not really, that close, or sometimes even in the beginning, they don't have the best dynamic, they don't have, the best relationship, but then they actually trust each other with their lives, and they are like, no way, you are not hurting my friend, that's my friend, ho, like, I'm going to fight you. It's just amazing. It's just so freaking cool to see how they start by not trusting each other to, I would die for that person and I would kill for that person, and how just tight and close these people get. I absolutely love the found family trope, and of course it would have to be number one. There is no other way. And because it is such a common fantasy trope, or just a common trope in general, you have so many fantasy books that have this trope. So please look it up, find out, read a ton of books, because you are absolutely going to love the found family trope, like I do, we all do, and it is one of the best tropes out there for a reason. And that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. And now, please comment down below. You know, you already commented all of your favorite tropes, but please comment, you know, out of all of the tropes that I talked to you guys about, which one is your favorite? Like, would you rank these in this order, or would you change the order? Are there any tropes that we do have in common? Please comment all of that down below. I love reading all of your comments. I love seeing, you know, everything that you have to say. And I'm just very curious to know what your favorite tropes are. And please subscribe and like this video because it does help my channel out a lot. It gives me a lot of motivation and validation to continue filming these videos for you guys. And I will see you on my next video. Bye!